Product operations teams are drowning in data, but they're starving for insights. I'm Ross Webb, and after 15 years of leading product teams at places like Amazon and Just Eat and many others, I've discovered that the difference between overwhelmed and empowered teams often comes down to one thing: how effectively they can nowadays harness agentic AI. And today, I'm revealing how agentic AI can transform your product and product operations teams, saving each product manager between 5 to 10 hours per week, while delivering deeper strategic insights than ever before. Now, this episode is brought to you by Product Board, the leading product management platform trusted by customer-centric organizations like Zoom, Salesforce, and Autodesk. And for over a decade, Product Board has helped product leaders build the right products faster by mastering the voice of their customer. The end-to-end platform seamlessly connects every stage of product management, from gathering customer insights to planning roadmaps and underlining stakeholders, all in one source of truth. And now, with Product Board Pulse, their new voice of the customer solution, you can leverage AI to analyze customer feedback trends and accelerate your product career through data-driven decisions. And speaking of data-driven decisions, we've gathered insights today from 5 exceptional product operations leaders who can really help your thinking and help you gain momentum with your AI agentic applications in your company and fast-track your career. And coming up in this episode, Graham Reed, a product operations thought leader and great guy, reveals how holistic AI workflows transform entire product lifecycles. Then, Tommy Oakes, another brilliant guy, will be demonstrating how AI copilots supercharge product manager productivity. Then, the brilliant Alim Pitticas-Rothwell will be sharing her revolutionary LLM chatbot that turned hours of customer feedback analysis into minutes. Then, the awesome Alim will be describing how AI-powered competitive research delivers executive-ready insights in record time. And then, the also awesome Javier Garcia-Alzorriz will be showing his automated feature request standardization system that revolutionized quarterly planning for him and his team. So, starting off with you, Graham, there seems to be a proliferation of AI point solutions in product management, but how should product operations team think about creating more holistic AI systems that transform entire workflows?
One of the interesting things with AI right now is there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of vendors, there are a lot of people going after very, very specific use cases. Very much, we can solve this very specific problem. They're going after that probably because they've got some experience or history with solving that particular problem. Absolutely fantastic that they are, and many of them are solving some fantastic, very individual problems. One of the problems with this right now is that now there are becoming so many individual and different tools, ultimately to solve various individual parts of the whole software development lifecycle. So the elements, we're picking up on discovery, on user research, on creating PRDs, on simplifying code development, et cetera, et cetera. And so as a consumer of this, I then need to start buying into lots of different individual products, individual platforms, individual AI solutions. And what we would really like to start to see, not just from a product ops perspective, but then on behalf of product managers and product squads, is what is going to then start tying all these things together so that actually we've got a bunch of inputs, and this is all being fed through, and then saving me time at multiple different places along that life cycle, rather than kind of having to kind of dip in, dip out, take lots of information, have to then integrate all of these things together. Actually, what can we start to do very intelligently? And what's interesting here, I think, as well, is largely we develop software much the same, agile, it's all kind of done. You all go through the very, very similar steps. So there shouldn't be that difficult to say, well, we take discovery and we take design and we take development, we take user stories, we take PRDs, etc., and they are all the same sort of thing. Let's just feed them all into one another. And how much of that flow, or the administration of that flow, can we then start to automate?
That's a brilliant perspective on looking beyond point solutions to create integrated workflows, Graham. Now let's explore how AI can serve as a true copilot for product professionals. Tommy, how does AI transform the role of product managers in your experience?
AI is all the rage right now, and I think will be for quite some time as we're seeing it. So in terms of where we are, I think we are truly in the late early adopter phase in terms of we are still learning so much about the power of AI. The new agentic models is a perfect example of kind of an unlock in terms of impact and possibility there. We're so early in learning. However, AI is at the forefront of everybody's mind, and everybody wants a piece of it because we know the power and potential that it can bring. And so it's a really exciting place where I think we're all, and this is kind of similar to product operations in a sense of like we're writing the book together in terms of there's obviously much more under the hood and many more unknowns of AI. But what it is, how we use it, and how we apply it, I think we're all learning together in real time. What that looks like for product operations specifically is multiple fold. So first is really process automation and helping product operation managers as well as product managers and really everybody in the product org to do their best work and use the most of their humanly gifted brain and let AI do the rest. So back to agentic models. I mean, I just saw a conversation with the CEO of NVIDIA, and he's saying like 10 billion agents will be, around helping us here in the future. That's amazing. So you kind of think about how might I, as a product professional, use this tooling to then unlock my potential, kind of sitting in the driver's seat, looking ahead. But again, really getting that automation and efficiencies through AI tooling. I think that's an important piece, is always making sure that you have AI in the passenger seat. You're never letting AI drive for you, but they make a damn good copilot, right? So like making sure that you're calling the shots, you're steering the car, but using AI's insights and automations and efficiencies and overall influence and power across all of the different sources that it has access to in order to make your life easier and ensure that you're making the most insightful decisions. That gets to a big factor, or I guess to a big opportunity for AI in product operations are insights, and specifically more real-time insights. So setting up these models, setting up these automated systems to make it low to really zero effort for a product manager to have real-time insight into what's going on in my product and where are the opportunities and where should I be looking next. Really driving that proactive vision as a product manager and product ops too. Automation is another huge value add where AI will be able to, work on schedules and work while you're sleeping even, and really work on these routines to ensure that you have the information you need as well as your stakeholders, and they're getting that communicated in a routine way, in a clear fashion, with formatting, easy to go back and find resources and sources, etc. So again, like AI is allowing us to create these routines and jobs to allow us to rest easy, knowing that things are humming underneath the hood. And then finally, that kind of brings me to the overall like value add of just proactiveness. Having AI in the driver's seat allows us to use more of our brain bandwidth for the high impact and complex problems. AI is there to provide us with the data, the context, the flags, trends, and opportunities in order to then understand where we need to go next.
I love that analogy. AI enhancing rather than replacing the PM's role. And Lucy, you've implemented a practical AI solution that's saving your team significant time. Tell us about your LLM chatbot for support ticket analysis.
So the problem we had is that we have a fantastic support team who spend all day, every day speaking to customers, and they get loads of massively important, useful data for product teams. At the moment, a lot of that goes into Zendesk in the form of feature requests, and it takes product managers, the existing process is that it takes product managers a long, long time to analyze all that data, collect it, pull it out. It's quite manual. It takes hours and hours a month. And what we wanted to do was find a way to extract that data and make it easier to analyze so that product teams can find out where the pain points are and decide, what to build next a lot quicker and easier. So we looked at a few different solutions for that. And what we've decided in the end is to create an LLM-based chatbot that can query all the Zendesk data. So what this means is that a product manager can now type into a chatbot questions like, what are customers struggling most with in the mobile app? Or we just released a new add-on. What are the key pain points there? What are customers requesting most in terms of payments, etc. So what it means is that product teams will be spending, literally minutes rather than hours analysing this feature request data and hopefully able to make decisions off the back of it much quicker. A few challenges. I guess the first one was we had to make sure that we could export all the data from Zendesk into our data lake so that it could be analysed by the machine learning models. That took a while. Our data science team, by the way, this is a product ops data science team combo, and the data science team are doing great work on this, pulling all that out. Obviously, then a second point was coming up with the use cases. So really understanding how are product teams going to use this? What do they need from the data? What questions are they going to ask? So that we could create a machine learning model that can cater to that. Yeah, I think one thing that we've been really wary of at Free Agent is not just doing AI for the sake of AI, and it's easy to fall into that trap, especially when you see a lot of other companies doing that and shouting about AI and maybe getting traction on it. But the thing we've always really tried to lead with is, can we help our customers do their jobs to be done better using AI? And that's kind of the fundamental. And only if the answer to that question is yes, do we then look at AI as a solution. Can we do it better with AI than without AI? And in this case, the customers, the product managers, it's not our small business customers. But yeah, we would always want to sort of work backwards from there. And, if it turns out the LLM is providing hallucinations, etc., then we'll go back to a different solution. It's not, we won't just pursue AI for the sake of it.
What a game changer. Turning hours of analysis into minutes. Now, Joe, you've been exploring AI for competitive research. How has this transformed your approach to market intelligence?
I had a conversation yesterday with a group of product leaders about this too. So I'll kind of reference some of my experience and some of what I'm hearing. I feel like every few weeks there's a new use case has appeared. Has anyone done this yet? So a few things that come to mind for me. I use Perplexity as probably the most primary tool for kind of search and also being able to leverage different models at once, whether as a brainstorming partner, a writing partner, refining, kind of asking me where are the gaps, what am I not thinking about, identifying edge cases. That's been a very consistent tool for a while now. What I've experimented with more recently is more prototyping. So, the Bolt V0 Lovable of the world that can kind of spin things up really quickly and just be like, does this make sense? And just get that in front of people as fast as possible. Would you use this? Would you pay for it? You want to click around this? I'm still not at the point where I would deploy these things as like standalone services that I would charge or, even like deploy on a bigger scale. But I really like them for validating ideas. My engineering team using GitHub's Copilot, their quantifiable impact recently has been reducing the PR review cycles. So the number of back and forths for engineering looking at each other's work, because it'll catch things like pretty minor things and be like, oh, have you considered this? I'm like, oh, I didn't. And like doing that immediately rather than having another engineer look at it, say, did you catch this? And then fixing it and send it back to them. Reducing that cycle time has been immediately impactful. So that's more like engineering ops, but tangential. What I'll do also, I mentioned Inari before, but also Gong. I'm often in Gong, that's sales call recording tool, and asking it questions. They have a pretty decent assisted chatbot within the system that can be like, oh, like what did the customer think about this feature? And it'll kind of give me the relevant context. And then the last thing, one of my responsibilities is competitive research, staying up to date with like who's doing what in the market. I accidentally pitted one of my team members against AI. I was like, oh, we need to do some updated competitive analysis against this competitor. And I asked one of my team members, like, hey, can you help me out with this? Spend a couple hours today, see what you can find. Here's the questions, here's the prompts. It didn't occur to me until like a few hours later that I just wrote like a really solid prompt that I could feed into ChatGPT, because I literally was doing that with one of my employees. And then I was like, oh, there's this deep research mode that's relatively new. And I'm like, let's compare deep research against the manual research that, one of my team members is going to do. And like, I think my team member helped me do all that distillation and like really extract like, here's like the main 5 things to know. But the deep research was impressive. Like, it was like, here's 16 pages of information comparing you against them in all these different aspects. And if you need to go deeper and have talking points for each one, like, here you go. And on top of that, here's a nice little executive summary for you as well. And I was like, that's amazing. Now I can replicate this 10 times over for different players in the space. The one thing I'll say I'm not bullish on yet is I get pitches all the time in my inbox on LinkedIn of like, we'll hire you a PM AI agent, or use this tool to automatically prioritize what you need to build, and we'll automatically build your roadmap. And I'm like, I don't think we're there yet. So I'll pause there and say I don't think we're there yet, but maybe in some future.
Wow, that's fascinating. AI dramatically expanding what one person can accomplish in competitive research. Now, Javier, you've created a unique system for standardizing feature requests. How did this transform your product planning process?
You said it before, like everyone is going with the buzz of like, anything to do with generative AI, right? Called ChatGPT as like the leader on that space. But the key here is, or at least the vision, the opportunity that we're seeing going forward and applied to the micro world of product operations, by extend that to anywhere, it is more like this agentic AI, being able to put into motion an element that can help coordinate and can help deliver and orchestrate a bunch of actions interconnected, taking the learning, taking behaviors, taking all into consideration, taking the context into consideration, right? Originally, when ChatGPT and generative AI came into the table, I remember going to my director at the moment. I was like, I think we need to use these to have consistent, putting a consistent way in the same format all the feature requests. Which will kind of like put all the feature requests in the same format and then being able to digest them in an easier way. Eventually becomes more like data rather than qualitative input. And because that was done very manually in the organization where I was at the moment. So I basically built with the Zapier and a bit of like Google Sheet and obviously running past ChatGPT with some query. Every single time there was a new Jira ticket, then it will just trigger a little automation, and then that will kind of like generate. The output was basically on a spreadsheet. I had that standardized output, which was what the problem was about, and then always in the same format and always kind of like really synthesized in the same way. So it was very easy to digest at volume qualitative information, and basically being able to empower the what I ended doing with that, I was doing like quarterly reports for the product team to kind of like work with those outputs in a more consistent way. So that was my very literally, like I think that was just January. So at the moment I apply AI to, I guess, to put into two main buckets. One is still like market inputs, whether it comes from feature requests to different insights that we get across the board from comes from marketing, comes from the customers themselves, from competition analysis and so on. So that kind of like will be one of the inputs, and then we work with them on a quarterly planning sessions. And then the other one will be just the standard process that we put in place to develop product internally. So that's more like an internal, our very own internal processes get currently orchestrated in a workflow that automatized a bunch of actions that up to 6 months ago were heavily manual.
That is fascinating. I wish all product people would be able to transform their product planning process just like you've done. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this in the future. And for product leaders looking to implement these AI approaches, Product Board offers a powerful foundation. And with its comprehensive platform and its new Product Board Pulse solution, Product Board helps you capture customer feedback, prioritize what to build next, and aligns everyone around the product roadmap, all enhanced by AI capabilities that make insights more accessible. Now, the future of product operations isn't about managing more tools. It's about creating cohesive AI systems where the machines handle routine analysis while humans can focus on strategic decisions, whether it's automating feedback analysis, streamlining competitive research, or generating holistic product insights. Agentic AI is transforming how product teams operate. So make sure you follow our guests on LinkedIn to continue learning from their AI journeys. They're all absolutely brilliant. And if you're ready to explore how agentic AI can transform your product operations, join us in the Top Prods community where we're building these capabilities together. So from me, Ross Webb, until next time, bye for now.